What if one of the Vatican's sharpest minds, a man who worked closely with a powerful cardinal, uncovered a secret so dark it threatened the very foundations of the Church? Father Malachi claimed he learned of a diabolical plot unfolding in the heart of the Vatican. He spent the rest of his life trying to warn the world, and especially America, about a coming spiritual collapse, one he believed was orchestrated by hidden forces within the Church itself. Of course, he was called a conspiracy theorist and a madman, sidelined by the institution he once served. But when you look at the world today, a world struggling with what many see as moral and cultural decay, you have to ask, what if he was telling the truth? This is the untold story of the whistleblower who claimed he saw our future. Before he became a lone voice crying out, Father Malachi was the ultimate insider. Born in Ireland in 1921, he was a man with a formidable intellect. He joined the Jesuit order and earned doctorates in Semitic languages, archaeology, and Oriental history. He was a published scholar who studied the Dead Sea Scrolls, spoke multiple languages, and taught at the prestigious Pontifical Biblical Institute in Rome. This wasn't some outsider looking in. This was a man at the very center of ecclesiastical power. From 1958 to 1964, Martin served as a close associate of the influential Cardinal Augustin Beer. This position put him right at the epicenter of the Second Vatican Council, the historic event that would redefine the Catholic Church for the modern age. He saw firsthand the high-stakes debates, the political maneuvering, and the theological battles that raged behind the Vatican's closed doors. He translated ancient texts, rubbed shoulders with future popes, and understood the intricate machinery of the Holy See. His credentials were solid, his access was extraordinary, and it was this proximity to power that gave him a terrifying vantage point. He began to believe that the changes unfolding, which were meant to renew the Church, were actually opening the door for its demolition. He grew convinced that the institution was being compromised by modernism, secularism, and something far more sinister. So what exactly did Malachi believe he saw that turned a brilliant Jesuit scholar into a global whistleblower? It wasn't a single event, but a slow, creeping realization. He believed he was witnessing the start of a great apostasy, a massive loss of faith that wasn't being forced on the Church from the outside, but was being cultivated from within. His core warning was simple. A spiritual war was underway for the soul of humanity, and the main battlefield was inside the Catholic Church. He argued that evil was no longer just hiding in the shadows, but was walking in plain sight, often disguised as progress, tolerance, or dialogue. According to Martin, he saw this firsthand during the Second Vatican Council. He recounted a story where Cardinal Beer returned to his room, deeply distressed. The cardinal had just overheard a progressive theologian, Hans Kung, allegedly boast that unlike past reformers who left the Church, his generation would stay inside and change it from within. For Martin, this was a chilling admission. The strategy wasn't to attack the fortress, but to occupy it and change its entire mission. He became convinced that some leaders within the Church, in their rush to accommodate the modern world, were sacrificing timeless truths. This led to what he called a diabolical disorientation, where even good people could no longer tell truth from lies. His disillusionment grew so deep that in 1964, he asked to be released from his Jesuit vows and left Rome for New York City. He believed he could no longer fight the battle from inside a compromised system. From there, his warnings would only grow more urgent and more terrifying. Freed from Vatican constraints, Malachi Martin started speaking out, using radio interviews and a series of explosive books to deliver his message. His most famous claim was about the third secret of Fatima. In 1917, the Virgin Mary is said to have given 3 prophecies to children in Portugal. The first 2, concerning visions of hell and the rise and fall of communism, were revealed, but the third was locked away, to be released by 1960. It never was. Martin claimed that because of his position with Cardinal Beer, he had read the full, unreleased text. He alleged that Pope John III found it too horrifying to share. According to Martin, the secret wasn't about nuclear war. It was worse. A spiritual prophecy about a great apostasy that would begin at the very top of the church, leading to a catastrophic crisis of faith that would infect the clergy itself. This led to his second, even more shocking prophecy: demonic infiltration. In his 1996 novel Windswept House, which he insisted was 85% factual, Martin depicted a horrifying scene: a satanic enthronement ceremony of Lucifer, held inside the Vatican on June 29, 1963. He alleged this ritual was coordinated with other ceremonies around the world to create a spiritual foothold for evil at the highest levels of the church. He wasn't speaking in metaphors. He insisted a real event had created a shadow church operating in parallel to the true one. Finally, Martin turned his prophetic gaze to America. He saw the United States as the last great bastion of faith and freedom, and therefore the primary target. In his writings, he described America's cultural desolation, the breakdown of the family, the corruption of education, and the loss of public decency. He didn't see these as random social trends, but as a coordinated spiritual attack designed to demoralize the nation and erode its Christian foundations. Martin's claims are undeniably explosive. He presented a reality where spiritual forces are actively trying to undermine our world, our faith, and our families. So, what do you think? Do you see evidence of this spiritual battle in society today? Let us know in the comments. Speaking what he believed to be the truth came at a tremendous cost. Malachi Martin was systematically discredited. His very status as a priest was questioned. After he left the Jesuits, he was never formally incardinated into another diocese, leaving his authority in dispute. Critics accused him of being a sensationalist, a fantasist, and a disgruntled former insider cashing in on fear. Even William Peter Blatty, the author of The Exorcist, dismissed Martin's work on the topic as pure fantasy. He was a man caught in a firestorm. To his supporters, he was a courageous hero, a lone voice defending the faith against a tide of corruption. To his detractors, he was a deeply flawed man whose sensationalist claims undermined his own message. This conflict followed him right to the end. In July 1999, at the age of 78, Martin died after a fall in his apartment. While the official cause of death was a cerebral hemorrhage, the story doesn't end thus there. Martin, who was a practicing exorcist, had reportedly told friends he hadn't just fallen off a stool. He believed he'd been pushed by a demonic force. Whether it was a tragic accident or the final act in his lifelong war, his death cemented his legacy as one of the most polarizing figures of the 20th century. Decades after his death, Malachi Martin's warnings echo with an unsettling relevance. We live in an age of deep division, institutional crisis, and a pervasive spiritual unease. The very issues he pinpointed Corruption inside powerful institutions, the erosion of traditional values, and a widespread sense of moral confusion are now our daily headlines. So who was he? A prophet who saw the blueprint of our current struggles, or a master storyteller who tapped into the anxieties of his time? His defenders would say he was a man who had seen too much and couldn't stay silent, a watchman on the wall trying to sound the alarm. He believed that before any true renewal could happen, the world would have to pass through a great trial, a purification designed not to destroy, but to cleanse. In the end, Martin's message wasn't one of despair, but a desperate call to wake up. As we look at the state of the world, with faith and fear locked in a seemingly endless battle, we're left with the haunting words of Pope Paul VI, words that Martin built his life's work on. The smoke of Satan has entered the church. Was he right? And if so, has it ever really left? If you believe in exploring the hidden truths that shape our world, subscribe for more stories that challenge what you think you know.
This book is your beginner's guide to understanding Scripture. Find peace, build relationships, and discover purpose in today's world. Ready to decode the Bible? Find Bible Decoded available on Amazon now.
If this content blesses you and you'd like to support our mission, you can buy me a coffee or give a super thanks. Every contribution helps us create more content to inspire and uplift others. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos.